Hello everybody, Rob Tomlinson, DishNet34 here, welcoming you to today's broadcast of This Week in Perfect Team episode number 223 for Baseball Reference Series 3, Part 1. Ooh, Part 1. Part 1, you say? Part 1. It is Part 1. Gonna be a Part 2 sometime in the near future. How's it going, everybody? Oh, man, what a day. What a day we have today going on. We have a lot of stuff to get to today. We have a lot of great cards dropping today. Oh, man, I can't wait for these cards. These are some pretty good cards we're going to have. A lot of big names, a lot of great historic postseason performances that we're going to be highlighting today. I'm looking forward to it. I know you are as well. But let's go ahead and get things started here today. Glad you're with us today. Really appreciate it. And thank you so much for bearing with me in terms of the delay for the live stream. Had some work stuff come up today, so that's why we started a little bit late with the live stuff here today. First news and notes I'd like to mention is that right now, that yesterday we released a kind of a tribute card to one Mr. Tim Wakefield. As kind of a mission reward, you just need one Red Sox live card to get him. This was a fun card here to celebrate the life and career of Tim Wakefield. Very great knuckleball pitcher, great guy, passed away just recently. But he was really great pitcher. You know, one of my favorite players to use in MLB Power Pros back in the day when I was playing some video games back in those days. Very great guy. He will be missed. Tim Wakefield. Rest in peace. All right. But with that being said, we have the Tim Wakefield card out now. But also, we have another new card that has just been released within the last hour, and that, my friends, is Reggie Jackson limited edition, 100 copies, 94 overall, from the 1977 Yankees. Mr. October himself, to give you just a little bit of a taste of what we have in store for Topps set number 3. 1977 season for Reggie Jackson. One of the greatest postseason, one of the greatest World Series performances ever during that season. 86 BABIP, 139 power, 59 avoid K, 112 contact, 94 gap, and 97 I. Some decent defense out in right field. A little bit of speed as well. Oh man, 1977 season for Reggie Jackson. Hit 32 homers during the regular season, 286 average. He was 8th in AL MVP that year. 3 homers on, 3 consecutive swings? 3 homers on 3 consecutive swings, was it? Just absolute craziness in that 1977 World Series. Game number 6, 5 RBI in total. And this was really when the whole mythos of Mr. October really came around. 3 swings, 3 homers. Whoo, buddy. Whoo, buddy. Reggie Jackson, big power against both sides, both righties and lefties. He's going to strike out a lot, which is kind of, typical of a Reggie Jackson card. Yeah, you got to take a little bit of the strikeouts with the power. And he's got a little bit of eye as well. So hopefully this will be a fun card to place on some of y'all's rosters potentially. Who knows? But there you go. 94 overall, limited edition Reggie Jackson in packs right now. And speaking of limited edition cards, here's where we're at as of about 11 a.m. or so. Here is where we are with our limited edition cards that are in packs. We've had 23 out of the 25 Mike Krukows that have been pulled right now. There's only about 2 left or so. And then the 100 overall Hoyt Wilhelm, the 10 copy LE, the 7 out of those 10 have been pulled. So there's just 3 remaining of those still in packs right now. Fun stuff right there. You know what's also? You also know what's some fun stuff coming up? If you recall, this weekend is Perfect Team Championship Series number 6. That's right, the 6th Perfect Team Championship Series happening this Saturday, October 7th, beginning at noon Eastern Time, with finals coverage on our Out of the Park Developments Twitch channel. The top 128 teams from this past Perfect Team Championship Series period from September 4th through October 1st in each of the 10 eligible formats will be participating. I'm a part of a PTCS, which is absolutely crazy to think about. I am in the PTCS Weekly Perfect Draft Tournament. I'm excited. I'm going to be doing my draft after the stream today, so that's going to be fun. Oh man. I'm looking forward to this. I'm looking forward to this so much. Like, I'm probably going to get eliminated in round 1. I'm probably not going to get a card, but you know what? I can say that I was in a PTCS. And that's what counts. Players will get points based on how they finish in the PTCS. Top 64 teams in these second 5 series of PTCS will go to the Perfect Team Master Series. And we will have, once again, separate PTMSs for regular tourneys and perfect drafts. First place to 32nd place will get a brand new PTCS exclusive card depending on how they finish. And, like the PTMS, players will get all cards below their finish as well, if applicable. So here's a look again at the formats that are going to be happening on Saturday. All formats will have a 2003 run environment with a designated hitter and will take place at 1985 Wrigley Field in Chicago. You got some Iron Open, you got Bronze Open, Silver Open, Gold Open, Diamond Open, and Open, all in the OOTP era. Wildcard is an OOTP era 1650 cap. Weekly tournaments are OOTP era Gold Floor Diamond Ceiling with a 2210 cap. PD Daily and PD Weekly going to be an OOTP era Orderly Draft with a designated hitter and limited editions available to draft. And once again, here's a look at the cards that are at stake for PTCS number 6. You got Kerry Wood, you got Sam Bankhead, you got Anthony Rendon, you got Joe Gordon, you got future legend Dylan Cruz for second place. Mark Pryor, your championship reward card right there. Some fun stuff going on with PTCS. I can't wait. I know y'all can't wait either. It's going to be a fun time. It's going to be a fun time on Saturday. All right, couple more news and notes to kind of talk about a little bit. The first one is something that just went live today, and that is the Perfect Team Team Score. It's a brand new thing that we have implemented here into Perfect Team. This is kind of an attempt to create kind of an all-encompassing metric to kind of quantify a team's capability and success within the game in several different areas. It's a little bit of a cosmetic thing, to be honest. League play, tournament draft play, missions, and card collection, the different areas that are going to be, factoring in to this particular score. Can be found in the top right corner of the team home screen. It's updated once a day around noon UTC, which is about around 8 a.m. Eastern, 5 a.m. Pacific, roundabouts there. And more information, I will drop a link into the chat here in just a little bit to which kind of gives a little more detail as to what it is, all that good stuff. So there's a link in the chat right there. More information on the team score formula can be found on the OOTP forums. It's something that's kind of interesting at the very least. Team score, now live right now. By the way, I'm a team score of an 89. That's something. It's not bad. Not bad. 0 to 100. I forget if it's 0 to 100. I'd have to look again. All right, so there's a little bit about team score there. Let's talk a little bit about some exclusive packs, because we still have these available for a limited time to celebrate the playoffs. An exclusive pack and card set available based on the 1981 season is available now for a limited time. That's right. This initial offering with 60 cards of players from 1981, 6 of them per pack, which can only be found in this new exclusive pack. Now, little thing with this set is that this pack will not contain cards from the rest of the PT card pool. So this is not just a historic pack. This is a pack for just this particular set. Pretty cool stuff right there. So, along with this are a set of missions surrounding these cards available to unlock a special Fernando Valenzuela card. So if you have not gotten in on these exclusive packs yet, highly encourage you to do so, because they are only available for this initial time period until Monday, October 9th at 1 p.m. Eastern, but they will return periodically later on. Stay tuned for when they are going to be coming back, because they will come back at some point, these packs. Pretty cool stuff right there for the 1981 packs. You know what's also pretty cool? Because I know I say the words pretty cool a lot, all right? But I just don't say it. I may say it for everything, but when I do say it, I do mean it. And if there's one thing that I like that's pretty cool, that I really truly mean it for, is Stathead Baseball, powered by Baseball Reference. And you can find out how pretty cool Stathead Baseball is by using code 23 OOTP25 at checkout for $25 off an annual baseball or all sport subscription. This is a fantastic offer, guys. Like, I've used Stathead Baseball quite a bit. Y'all know that by now. It's helped me to make a lot of these slides here, you know, because I love to talk about stats on the stream, kind of put things in historical context for what season these guys come from. And, you know, this is a helpful tool for me to use to bring that to you guys. So if you want to know how awesome this thing is, you can save $25 off an annual baseball or all sports subscription, because it's not just for baseball, it's for football, it's for basketball, it's for hockey. Like I say, that's pretty cool. Offer expires December 31st, 2023. Stathead Baseball, powered by Baseball Reference. Use code 23OOTP25 at checkout. And speaking of our good friends at Baseball Reference, let's talk about the content. Baseball Reference Series 3, Part 1. Part 1. New series of Baseball Reference cards focusing on some historic postseason performances. And my goodness, there have been a lot of great postseason performances, some great postseason stories from over the years that we like to reflect on this stream. And whenever Part 2 comes down, Part 2 might come sooner than you think. So let's go ahead and get this started. Let's start talking about Baseball Reference Series 3. And what way to start with, as a Tigers fan, one of the best World Series of all time, the 1984 World Series. And you know, that was a great series for the Tigers, obviously. But also, it is the first time that the San Diego Padres were in the World Series. First time ever. And there was one guy on that Padres team that really broke out during that World Series. Kind of like a bit of a flash in the pan. Did not have a great regular season at all. But this guy showed out for the Padres during the 1984 World Series. Ladies and gentlemen, 44 overall, first baseman from the San Diego Padres, it is Kurt Bevacqua. Kurt Bevacqua, bit of a bench guy throughout most of his career, came off the bench in the World Series as a designated hitter for the Padres, hit 2 dingers, 412 average in the 1984 World Series in 2 games. Or 3 games or so. My, oh my. 63 BABIP, 62 power, 63 avoid K, 70 contact, 49 gap power, and 63 on the eye. Whoo, boy. Very good against lefties compared to his stats against righties. He's got 69 BABIP, 72 power, 70 avoid K, 81 contact, 61 gap, and 75 on the eye. Again, yes, so this is kind of a more of a platoon guy at the iron level, mainly against left-handed pitching here. Defensively, he can play first base and third base, and is qualified to learn second base and left field. 59 range, 46 error, 58 arm, and 53 turn double play on the infield. In the outfield, he has 54 range, 51 error, and 60 on the arm. Now, 1984 season for Kurt Bevacqua. 200, 326, 275 on the slash line. Hit just 1 homer, 9 RBI, a 71 OPS. This guy, not a great hitter. He could get on base. But he really couldn't put contact to the ball too often. But in the 1984 World Series, he hit 412 with a 444 on base, 882 slugging, 7 for 17 in the World Series, 2 homers, 4 RBI. That included a 3-run home run in Game 2, I believe the only game in the series that the Padres actually won in that series. Plus, he had a solo home run in Game number 5. He led the team in batting average during the World Series, which was absolutely crazy to think about. And of course, this was his lone trip to the playoffs of his career. He DH'd in 3 games during that World Series. So Kurt Bevacqua, 1984 San Diego Padre World Series hero, even though they kind of lost a little bit to the juggernaut Tigers, is in Perfect Team 24. Great start right here with this fantastic iron card. Let's go up to silver a little bit. And let's go to kind of more of the modern era. Let's go to kind of my formative years in baseball, around 2006, 2007 or so. And we're going to actually go to 2007 for this one. 2007, Cleveland had a pretty darn good team that year, all right? They had some great hitters in their lineup. Just fell short of the World Series. They blew a 3-1 lead. Then again, what is it with Cleveland and 3-1 leads? What is it with Cleveland in 3-1 leads in a baseball postseason? Like, they had a 3-1 lead in the 2016 World Series, and they blew it. They had a 3-1 lead in the 2007 ALCS, and they blew it. I mean, what is it with Cleveland in general? But still. But this guy, was very instrumental to Cleveland's success in the 2007 playoffs, and he came from behind the plate. Ladies and gentlemen, from the 2007 Cleveland team, we have 78 overall catcher Victor Martinez. 73 BABIP, 82 power, 83 avoid K, 92 contact, 91 gap power, and 71 on the eye. This is a solid silver catcher right here. A little bit better against righties than he is against lefties. 74 BABIP, 89 power, 81 avoid K, 96 contact, 94 gap, and 69 eye against righties. He's got a little defense on him too. 79 catcher ability, 66 arm. Not exactly elite defense, but still pretty serviceable behind the plate. He can also play some first base as well. 64 range, 60 error, 64 arm, and 46 turn double play in the infield. 5 speed, 6 stealing, and 10 base running. Yeah, he was not the greatest runner in the world, straight up. The dude could definitely hit. Victor Martinez, definitely one of the more pure hitting catchers in the late 2000s. And yet here I was in 2012, 2011 or so, when he became a free agent. I will readily admit that I wanted the Tigers to sign Adam Dunn more than I wanted them to sign Victor Martinez. I will readily admit that I thought that way back in 2011. And boy, I was wrong, because Victor Martinez, my God, he is so good. So good. And he was pretty good in 2007 as well. 301, 374, 505 on the slash line during the regular season. 25 homers, 114 RBI, a 129 OPS plus. He was an all-star that year, finished 7th in AL MVP, and led the American League, curiously, in sacrifice flies. But the 2007 playoffs is where he really starred. He hit .318 with a .388 on base percentage, .500 slugging percentage in the 2007 playoffs, which they did not make the World Series. Arguably one of the best hitters on their team during that postseason run. Very great stuff for Victor Martinez. 4.3 WAR that year, 3rd highest wins above replacement of his career. Honestly, I think this is a pretty darn good silver card right here. Might play in some silver tournaments. Who knows? If you need a bat with a little bit of glove, this guy's your guy right here. Victor Martinez from the 2007 Cleveland team is in Perfect Team 24. All right, let's keep on going. And let's go to the gold level for a card here. Let's go to the gold level. And let's talk about, one of the greatest postseason runs by a single batter in the last decade. Because, my goodness, I think every single night during the 2015 postseason, I think a lot of us are wondering, we're wondering, okay, is he gonna hit another homer? Because this guy had an insane run of consecutive games with home runs, and we've immortalized that here with this card. Ladies and gentlemen, 83 overall second baseman from the 2015 New York Mets, it is Daniel Murphy. Daniel Murphy, 83 overall, 83 BABIP, 93 power, 114 avoid K, 119 contact, 106 gap power, and 55 on the eye. Woo! Woo! This is a hot card right here. Hot bat right here. A little bit better against righties than he is against lefties. As a left-handed batter, 85 BABIP, 96 power, 116 avoid K, 123 contact, 109 gap, and 59 on the eye. This dude could absolutely rake at the plate during the 2015 postseason. We'll talk a little bit more about that in just a little bit. He can play first base. He can play second. He can play a little bit of third if you really want him to. He's got 60 range, 52 error, 49 arm, and 67 on the turn double play. Not a lot of speed on him as well. But man, oh man. Daniel Murphy. 281, 322, 449 during the regular season with 14 homers, 73 RBI, and a 111 OPS plus. But where he really shined was the 2015 National League Championship Series. Because my goodness gracious. Woo! Woo! Boy. He was the 2015 NLCS MVP, He hit .529 with 4 home runs during that series against the Chicago Cubs. And 4 of those homers, all 4 of those homers came on consecutive days. Now, you add that on to games 4 and 5 of the NLDS against the LA Dodgers, where he also hit home runs. He had 6 straight games with at least 1 home run, setting a postseason record. Postseason record. 6 games in a row, 6 home runs, 1 home run each. He had 7 home runs in total during that 2015 postseason. And he is the second person to have a hit, a run, and an RBI in 7 straight postseason games, going from Game 3 of the NLDS all the way up to Game 4 of the NL Championship Series. So this is a fun card right here. Daniel Murphy from the 2015 New York Mets. Is it perfect team 24? Oh boy. This is a fun card. Fun card right here. But you know what? Let's keep on going. Let's go on to the diamond level, because we have a lot of diamond level cards here today, folks. We have a lot of diamond level cards here to show off today. And our first one comes from the legendary 2011 postseason. And if you think about the 2011 postseason, you remember quite a few things from that postseason. But I think none was more memorable than Game 6 of the 2011 World Series, when this guy forced a game number 7 with an absolute blast in which Joe Buck said, "We will see you tomorrow night." Ladies and gentlemen, from the 2011 St. Louis Cardinals, it is 91 overall, third baseman, David Freese. David Freese, 107 BABIP, 103 power, 67 avoid K, 121 contact, 115 gap, and 64 on the eye. Whoo! Look at the splits here against lefties. This is big power stuff right here for David Freese. 116 BABIP, 113 power, 77 avoid K, 134 contact, 111 gap, and 69 on the eye. Pretty darn nice. He can play third base. He can play a little bit of first base as well. 69 range, 56 error, 74 arm, and 81 on the turn double play. So not the greatest defender over at third base, but can definitely, be serviceable in a pinch, maybe, potentially. But this is a fantastic hitter for this guy right here. And he wasn't a terrible hitter during the 2011 regular season. Hit 297, 350, 441, 10 homers, 55 RBI, a 119 OPS plus. So by no means was it a spectacular year. It was a solid year for David Freese. But where he really shined once again was in the postseason. 2011 NLCS was probably his best series, really, to be honest with you. Because he hit 546 with 3 homers and 9 RBI during that series against the Milwaukee Brewers. Now, shout outs to the Milwaukee Brewers for being mediocre in playoffs in the 21st century, but they were still a pretty good team during that time. But he absolutely made mincemeat of the Milwaukee Brewers. I mean, a lot of these performances, he had, 3 for 4 game? All but 2 games in that series were multi-hit games for David Freese. That's just insane. And of course, as you all know, that Game 6 World Series walk-off home run to send in the 11th inning to complete the comeback for the Cardinals to send them to a Game 7 where they would eventually win the World Series. And with that performance, he won World Series MVP that year. So, ladies and gentlemen, from the 2011 St. Louis Cardinals, David Freese is in Perfect Team 24. Fun card right here, David Freese. All right, let's go to the outfield for this one, because there have been a number of outfielders that have really shined during a postseason. Really, really shined. And this one is definitely one of them. Did a lot better during the playoffs, really, than he did during the regular season. This guy almost hit as many home runs during the postseason than he did in the regular season. Ladies and gentlemen, from the 2008 Tampa Bay Rays, we have 92 overall, B.J. Upton. Bossman Jr. himself, B.J. Upton. 101 BABIP, 92 power, 46 avoid K, 102 contact, 78 gap, and 90 on the eye. He's a little bit better against righties than he is against lefties, but this is a very solid hit set right here. 101 BABIP, 94 power, 47 avoid K, 104 contact, 80 gap, and 88 on the eye. You're getting a little bit more eye against lefties, but you're getting a lot more against righties overall. In the outfield, he can play just center field, but he has 87 range, 64 error, and 111 on the outfield arm. And he has some pretty good speed as well. 89 speed, 88 stealing, 91 on the base running. Very interesting card right here for B.J. Upton. Kind of a ground ball hitter, righty batter right here. He had a lot of strikeouts during the year. Not like league leading in strikeouts, but he struck out a lot. Like, we're talking a strikeout rate of 24.3%, 134 strikeouts, but he also walked 97 times that season. I'm sorry, 20.9% strikeout rate, 15.2% walk rate, highest of his career. He also 44 stolen bases, 16 caught stealing during the regular season, hit 273, 383, 401 with 9 home runs, just 9 home runs, which was kind of a bit of a step back from when he hit 24 the previous year for Tampa Bay. But man, oh man, he absolutely showed out during the postseason. 288, 333, 652. He hit 7 home runs. 7 home runs during the playoffs alone. Which that is just incredible to think about, really. Let's see. He hit 3 of them against the White Sox, 4 of them against the Red Sox in the ALDS and ALCS respectively. And he had some pretty good hitting performances too overall. I mean, outside the home runs, he went 3 for 4 in Game 5 of the ALCS against Boston. Had a couple 2-hit games against Chicago. He had a phenomenal postseason that year. Hit almost as many home runs in the postseason as he did in the regular season. So there you go. B.J. Upton, center fielder from the 2008 Tampa Bay Rays, where they made it all the way to the World Series, but lost to the Philadelphia Phillies. He is in Perfect Team 24. Alrighty. Next up, oh man, what is a postseason set? What is a postseason set? Without arguably one of the greatest closers of all time. What would it be? What would a set like this be? without one of the greatest closers of all time. Folks, our next card, 94 overall from the New York Yankees. I believe it's from the 2000 season, but it might be from 2003. Depends on, a lot of things. But it's from the early 2000s, and it is Mariano Rivera. 73 stuff, 112 movement, 102 homer rating, 101 pitcher BABIP, and 100 control. This is a very interesting card here because I'm looking at the pitch selection here. It's just one cutter. It's just a cutter. It's a very great cutter. I will say that much. For the 2003 ALCS MVP. But, man oh man, this is going to be an interesting card to see people play. Very good pitcher BABIP, very good homer prevention, very good control on this guy. Not a lot of stuff relative to everything, but he was still a fantastic pitcher during 2003. I think we originally had him as a 2000, but I think it got changed during production, so that's why you have the 2000 stats on here. But let's talk a little bit about 2003. Let's talk a little bit about the 2003 season for Mariano Rivera. Yankees made it to the World Series against the Marlins. Obviously, they lost, but man, oh man, Mariano Rivera had strikeouts in all but one game of the playoffs. He had 4 strikeouts in the series against Minnesota. He had 6 strikeouts against the Red Sox in the ALCS, and 4 strikeouts in the World Series against the Marlins. He did not walk a single batter during that 2003 postseason. Only gave up one run during that postseason. That was in Game 5 of the ALCS against the Red Sox, and that, I believe, was... Give me a second here. That was just a ground out by Nomar Garciaparra to score Todd Walker, who led off the bottom of the 8th with a triple to right field. And that was it. That was the only run that came across against Mariano Rivera in the 2003 postseason. This guy has postseason records for the most saves and the most scoreless innings pitched consecutively, I believe. And this was also the year where made what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This was Mariano Rivera's 6th World Series appearance during the 2003 season with the Yankees. During the regular season, though, 2003 was a very dominant year for him. Had 40 saves, a 1.66 ERA, 5-2 record. Strikeout rate was actually around an 8 that year, which is pretty darn good. But overall, Mariano Rivera, very good 2003, very good 2003 postseason, and he is in Perfect Team 24. Alrighty, next up, hey, let's talk a little bit more about that 2003 World Series. Why don't we? Because if there was someone that really broke out and made a name for himself because of that 2003 World Series, heck, 2003 postseason as a whole, it would have been this guy on the Florida Marlins. Ladies and gentlemen, 94 overall, right-handed starter from the 2003 Florida Marlins. And that, my friends, is Josh Beckett. Josh Beckett from the Florida Marlins, 97 stuff, 104 movement, 96 home run rating, 95 pitcher BABIP, and 77 control. Woo! Ooh. little bit of interesting splits here. Maybe a little tiny bit better against righties. 98 stuff, 101 movement, 93 homer rating, 96 pitcher BABIP, 80 control. But very good against lefties as well. 95 stuff, 108 movement, 100 homer rating, 93 pitcher BABIP, and 74 control. This is not bad right here for Josh Beckett. 92 stamina, 56 on the hold runners, has a fastball, has a curveball, has a changeup, has a sinker. Josh Beckett, a lot of people remember him for his Red Sox years, obviously. He had a lot of those from 2006 up to 2012. But Josh Beckett was an integral part of that Florida Marlins rotation in 2003. I believe he dealt with a little bit of injury during that 2003 season, so he only finished 9-8 with a 3.04 ERA. 9.6 strikeouts per 9, though, which is pretty darn good. 3.5 walks per 9, so walks were a tiny bit of an issue. But he really shined during the 2003 playoffs, because these are some insane numbers right here, all right? He had just really one clunker of a game, and that would have been NLCS Game 1 against the Cubs. Gave up 6 runs in 6 1/3. Wasn't great. But outside of that, he only gave up 4 runs during the 2003 postseason. 10 runs overall, 4 of them outside of NLCS Game 1. And that was in 42 2/3 innings pitched. So he was a phenomenal, big reason why the Marlins won the 2003 World Series. Had a 2-2 record during the postseason, had a couple of double-digit strikeout games that postseason. Game 5 against the Cubs, he had 11 strikeouts in a complete game shutout. Obviously, a lot of people remember him for World Series game number 6, in which he had 9 strikeouts, 2 walks, 5 hits, shut out the Yankees, tagged the runner for the final out of the World Series. Very cool stuff right there. 47 strikeouts to just 12 walks in the 2003 playoffs. Awesome stuff right here for Josh Beckett. He is in perfect T 24. Alrighty, next up, let's go back to the 1990s and let's talk a little bit about some more pitching, because there's a lot of pitchers in this set. I will readily admit. We have 1, 2, 4 of the last 5 cards we're going to show off from this set today are pitchers. All right, we're going to have 1 hitter in here, but 4 out of the last 5 cards we're going to show hitters. Pitchers, I mean. I can talk today. But this guy right here was one of the integral bullpen pieces for the 1990 Nasty Boys Cincinnati Reds. One of their three-headed monster of relievers they could bring out of that bullpen led them to a sweep of the 1990 World Series. And ladies and gentlemen, our next card, 95 overall, left-handed closer from the Cincinnati Reds. It's Randy Myers. 137 stuff, 106 movement, 95 homer rating, 102 pitcher BABIP, and 60 on the control. Look at these splits right here. 160 stuff, 103 movement, 90 homer rating, 118 pitcher BABIP, and 63 control just against lefties. Just against lefties. Against righties, he's a pretty serviceable pitcher too. 129 stuff, 107 movement, 97 homer rating, 97 pitcher BABIP, and 59 control. So the control, not really quite there for Randy Myers, to be quite honest with you. It's kind of what he had some control issues during this 1990 season. But he was an all-star. He was 5th in NL Cy Young voting, 17th. He got a few votes in National League MVP, but he was effectively wild. 66 games, 86 and 2/3 innings pitched, 31 saves, 2.08 ERA, 10.2 strikeouts per 9 during the regular season, but during the postseason for Randy Myers, 10 strikeouts, 3 walks, no earned runs, and 4 saves in the 1990 postseason. Did not give up a run, 4 saves. Just absolutely incredible stuff for Randy Myers. Fastball and slider combo on this guy, 25 stamina, 110 on the hold runners. He is a fly ball pitcher though, which is something to kind of think about when you're evaluating this card. But he can hold runners pretty well, 110 on the hold runners as well. So there you go, 95 overall Randy Myers from the 1990 Cincinnati Reds in Perfect Team 24. Alrighty, next up, let's go back a couple more seasons to 1988. 1988. A lot of things happened in 1988. But this guy was probably one of, I don't want to say like, main characters, but probably, we could probably call him a protagonist of the 1988 regular season from the pitcher's mound. Because this guy was just absolutely phenomenal during the 1988 season and the 1988 playoffs. Ladies and gentlemen, 97 overall right-handed starter from the Los Angeles Dodgers, it is Orel Hershiser. Orel Hershiser, 83 stuff, 125 movement, 109 homer rating, 114 pitcher BABIP, and 87 control. Ooh. And some very interesting splits here. Against righties, he's got 84 stuff, 128 movement, 112 homer rating, 116 pitcher BABIP, and 92 control. Against lefties, he's got 82 stuff, 120 movement, 106 homer rating, 111 pitcher BABIP, and 82 control. 117 stamina, 73 on the hold runners, is an extreme ground ball type, which a lot of people do enjoy, especially with that pitching BABIP that he has. Curveball, changeup, sinker, cutter combo in his pitching repertoire. Orel Hershiser, I mean, what more could be said? What more can you say about Orel Hershiser's 1988 season? It was so great, there are 2 different Wikipedia articles about it. I mean, there's literally there is a separate page in Wikipedia for Orel Hershiser's scoreless inning streak. 59 consecutive innings during the regular season, opposing teams did not score a run against Orel Hershiser. Spanned from the 6th inning of August 30th against the Expos all the way to the 10th inning of a September 28th game against the San Diego Padres. Woo, woo, woo. 15 complete games, 8 shutouts during the regular season, but in the National League Championship Series and the World Series, he was named MVP of both of them. Now, he did give up some runs, womp womp, but he was very, very effective. He went 3-0 during the postseason with a 1.05 ERA, 1.05 ERA. He even threw in a save for good measure in Game 4 of the NLCS. He got some bullpen work, too. Got an out at the last minute in the 12th inning of that game. But in the World Series, shut out the Oakland A's in Game 2. Complete game victory in Game number 5. Gave up a couple of runs, but still a phenomenal performance in that 1988 postseason for Oral Hershiser. He is in Perfect Team 24. Perfect stuff right there for Oral Hershiser. Let's move on to our next guy here. This guy's name is a bit of a haunting one for me. Not from the particular postseason that's on his card. It's from a later postseason. But this guy is still, fairly decently well known in Boston Red Sox lore for this particular postseason. Let's go to 2004 for 99 overall. Give me just a second here. I want to see if I can do this. Ladies and gentlemen, it is oh, shoot, I turned on the wrong thing. Hang on. It didn't work, but I know it can. Ladies and gentlemen, it is 99 overall.
David Ortiz!
103 BABIP, 127 power, 76 avoid K, 128 contact, 113 gap, and 112 on the eye. Big power guy right here. 106 BABIP, 132 power, 78 avoid K, 132 contact, 117 gap, and 116 eye just against righties. Oh boy. This is a big card. Big card right here. Now against lefties, he's still okay. Not as great against righties, but still very good against lefties. 96 BABIP, 111 power, 70 avoid K, 116 contact, 102 gap, and 102 on the eye. Defensively, not a great first baseman. Let's get that out of the way now. I mean, when was David Ortiz ever a good defensive first baseman? 27 range, 22 error, 25 arm, 26 on the turn double play. Speed, stealing, and base running, not there, but my God, the man can mash. And he certainly did in 2004 in the regular season and in the postseason. 301, 380, 603 during the regular season, 41 homers, 139 RBI, 145 ERA plus. He was an all-star during the regular season, 4th in AL MVP, won the Silver Slugger, but everyone remembers him for when he broke out during the playoffs. 2004, he hit 400 for the Red Sox in the entire playoffs, 5 home runs, 19 RBI. He had a walk-off homer in the American League Division Series. Game 4 of the ALCS, hit a walk-off home run and was ALCS MVP. One of the more famous walk-off homers in the ALCS. Pretty good stuff right there. 145 OPS plus. What am I typing? That's to say 145 OPS plus. Ha! David Ortiz from the 2004 Boston Red Sox is in Perfect Team 24. All right, just 2 more cards to talk about with this set. 2 more cards to talk about. Also, thank goodness that this David Ortiz card was not from 2013, because, my God, I would not have wanted to talk about that more than I had to. But our next card, we go back to 1990. A lot of people were wondering, hey, what's this Randy Myers doing here? What's this Randy Myers card doing here? When this guy was in the bullpen as well for those 1990 Cincinnati Reds. It is 100 overall Rob Dibble from the 1990 Cincinnati Reds. 152 stuff, 124 movement, 110 homer rating, 108 pitcher BABIP, 65 control. Folks, if you thought Randy Myers was splitting toward lefties, this guy is splitting toward righties. 166 stuff, 122 movement, 108 homer rating, 118 pitching BABIP, and 68 control. 30 on the stamina, which is pretty high up there, really, and 55 on the hold runners. Fastball and slider combo on this guy, both of them excellent pitches for an excellent season. One of just maybe a couple of seasons for Rob Dibble that were actually good. 68 games during the 1990 season, 98 innings pitched, 11 saves, a 1.74 ERA, 12 and a half strikeouts per 9. He was an all-star during that year, but man, oh man, he was even better during the 1990 playoffs for the Reds. 9 2/3 innings pitched, 14 strikeouts, somehow only walked 2 guys in game number 2, in game number 2 of the NLCS, game 1 of the World Series, and allowed just 3 hits in the entire playoffs. In game 1 and game 2 of the World Series. That's it. That is it. NLCS, he had 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of those strikeouts came in the NLCS, where he was also named MVP along with Randy Myers. Pretty darn cool stuff. Rob Dibble, 100 overall, big stuff, big pitching BABIP, big home run prevention. He is in Perfect Team 24. All right, we have one more card. One more card to show off for y'all today. It is another perfect card. And boy, oh boy, if there was one guy that needs to be in a postseason set, it would have to be one of the greatest postseason pitchers of the modern era. Or at least of the last 10 years. This next guy holds the record for the lowest career World Series ERA when this guy was on the mound in the 2014 World Series. When he came out of that bullpen in game number 7, you knew it was game over. Ladies and gentlemen, from the 2014 San Francisco Giants, Royals fans, cover your eyes. It is Madison Bumgarner. 95 stuff, 119 movement, 106 homer rating, 106 pitching BABIP, and 113 control. And folks, there's a tiny bit of reverse splits as well. Against righties, 96 stuff, 117 movement, 105 homer rating, 106 pitching BABIP, 112 control as a left-handed pitcher. Against lefties, it is 93 stuff, 123 movement, 109 homer rating, 104 pitching BABIP, 116 control. 111 on the stamina, 103 on the hold runners. Fastball, curveball, changeup, cutter combo. Sneakily good bat with 50 contact and 76 power. This is an absolutely fantastic card for a fantastic postseason pitcher. Because holy cow, 2014 was an absolute fantastic postseason for Madison Bumgarner. Let's talk about his 2014 season because it was pretty darn good either way. In the regular season, he was great. 18-10, 2.98 ERA, 9.1 strikeouts per nine, 1.8 walks per nine, and a 1.16 ERA plus. Fourth in NL Cy Young. He was an all-star. He was a Silver Slugger. But where he really shined was the 2014 World Series, really. I mean, he gave up some runs in the NLDS and the NLCS and a couple of starts he had there. But when it got to the World Series, when it got to crunch time, this guy absolutely showed out. Game 1, 7 innings, 3 hits, 1 earned run, 5 strikeouts, and a walk. Folks, that game is the only game of Bumgarner's World Series career in which he gave up a run. The only game of his career in the World Series where he gave up a run. Because in game number 5, in Kansas, at home, in San Francisco, complete game, shutout, 8 strikeouts, 4 hits. Game 7, everybody I believe remembers Game 7. He is famous for that 5-inning, 2-hit relief appearance in game number 7 where he absolutely shut down the Kansas City Royals. Out of that bullpen, left a runner stranded at third to end the game. That would have been the tying run and sealed his name in World Series history. He set the record during this World Series for lowest career World Series ERA, 0.25 ERA. 0.25. Wow. Madison Bumgarner, 2014 San Francisco Giants is in Perfect Team 24. What a card. What a card. All right, folks. But of course, there's some more cards in this set in part 1. Let's take a look at them. Other cards in today's set, we have Colby Rasmus from the 2015 Houston Astros. We have Andy Pettitte from the New York Yankees. Peak card, Andy Pettitte. We have the third of the Nasty Boys from the 1990 Reds. Norm Charlton is in this set. 83 overall, Adam Kennedy from the 2002 Angels. He had a fantastic postseason run there. Tim Lincecum, 80 overall reliever from the 2012 San Francisco Giants. Do not remind me about 2012. 71 overall Jorge Soler from the 2021 Atlanta Braves. That insane postseason run he had with all the dingers. Marquise Grissom from the 95 Braves is in here, 66 overall. You have the 86 Red Sox with Marty Barrett, a 66 overall. And then Andre Ethier from the 2009 LA Dodgers, 64 overall in today's set. 21 packable cards in total. Part 2 of Baseball Reference Series 3 coming up next week. So stay tuned, because part 2 of BB Ref 3 coming up next week. So there's a look at your top 8 cards from Baseball Reference Series 3. You got BJ Upton, you got Mariano Rivera, Josh Beckett, Randy Myers, Oral Hershiser, David Ortiz, Rob Dibble, and Madison Bumgarner. Pretty darn cool stuff right there. And cards are in packs right now. Right now. Alrighty. So, before we sign off for the day, let's go ahead and congratulate our weekly leaderboard champions for week 26, PTCS 6 period week number 4. We have Jim Bowden 1 in the Strong Baddie Tires, winning the Daily Iron leaderboards last week with 102 points. Daily Bronze, it'll be Zargian 2 in the Debrecen Giants with 86 points in the Daily Bronze. Daily Silver is Go Cubs Go 16 in the Webster Groves Supercells with 163 points. 2-week streak for Go Cubs Go 16. In the Daily Gold, PDB 17 and the Space Moose were at the top of the Daily Gold leaderboards last week with 103 points. Daily Diamond at the top of the leaderboard there, it was Admiral Relativity and the Lamarinda Star Crushers with 179 points. Daily Open, BKN Mets Fan and the Park Slope Bourbon Bros leading the way with 92 points. Daily Wildcard was Weldon 06 and the Gouverneur Destroyers with 97 points. Weekly Tournament, it was Glevin 37-37 and the Toronto Wolverines with 162 points. Perfect Draft Daily, Red Eclipse and the Palatine Plutos were at the top of the leaderboard with 140 points. And Steve Balboni and the Botafogo Sao Paulo winning the Perfect Draft Weekly leaderboard last week with 63 points. No missions today, folks. No missions today, but there might be some next week. So stay tuned for that. Folks, thank you so much for tuning in to episode number 223 of This Week in Perfect Team, Baseball Reference Series 3, Part 1. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have a great rest of your day. I will see you back here on Saturday for the Perfect Team Championship Series. Have a great day, everybody. Rob Tomlinson, DishNet34, signing out. Have a great day, everybody.